Hi Aquarius, this is Healing and Reach Tarot. Thank you for joining me today. This is going to be your May monthly reading. I know we're coming into the end of May, so I see this as present energy. So the end of May coming into the beginning of June, and then the next monthly I'll do will be in a couple weeks, kind of like in the middle of June. And so if this is for Sun, Moon, and Rising Aquarius, and if this doesn't resonate for you, in the description box below, I have a link for personal readings. And I spend about an hour with you or so, maybe a little less. And it's through a Zoom call, and it's a live tarot reading for you. And also I'm available for distance energy healing right now. And that link is also below. So let's start. And we'll begin with an oracle card for you from the Crystal Mandala Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. These cards are so beautiful, and I already pre-shuffled and picked for you Aquarius, and then we'll get into tarot right after. So this is going to be the spiritual overall energy for you. And I got Spiritual Connection, Ascended Master Saint Germain, and Amethyst. Spiritual Connection is the highest chakra and the seventh chakra, and it's deep purple. And this card represents that. And that is a very Aquarius kind of an energy, because I see Aquarians at the end of the zodiac. They're coming into full completion of the soul cycle, where they are very intuitive, and I think intuitive downloads come through that crown chakra. So anyway, this is your card for this month, and this is what it has to bring to you. We bring you the blessing of spiritual connection. There are times on your life path when you will feel alone. If you are working on an issue or going through a challenging time and don't feel particularly supported, or that others understand, even though they may love you, that a sense of loneliness may increase for a time. Or perhaps you wonder if you are as spiritually connected as you could be. Perhaps you have been asking for confirmation of your divine connection, or for some sort of sign that what you think might be divine guidance is genuine. This oracle comes with a message. You are capable of conscious spiritual connection, and that connection is growing in power every time you talk to the universe through prayer or any act of devotion. You are also being asked to release any barriers around your heart and mind, so you can allow the unconditionality, loving voice of spirit to be heard in your heart and soothe your mind. I'm having a hard time talking today. Spirit wants to connect with you just as much as you want to connect with it, more even. You are so loved. Set aside any frustration with yourself or the divine as you realize that even if you don't see or hear as some others seem to do, Spirit talks to you still every day. Can you see the signs? The fear of opening up further to Spirit can be so deep that you don't realize it is there. You attend development classes and work hard to perceive spiritual connection, and yet frustratingly, it may not come through as clearly as you would like. Perhaps you feel like you are the only person who doesn't get something, whilst others seem to have a connection you envy. You may feel like Spirit has forgotten you, or are not important enough to deserve attention, or that there's something wrong with you that you cannot receive as you wish. All these reactions and frustrations are understandable, but they are not reflective of the higher truth. Your spiritual task is to be kind to yourself, be with your feelings, and complete the following healing process as often as you feel you need it. Know that as fear arises, and it can arise even in those working consciously with Spirit for a long time, testing them to trust and open up even more so. You are releasing a barrier between you and Spirit. You never need to be ashamed of your fear. It has been conditioned into bodies over lifetimes. It can take a little while to cleanse it out of the soul. Fear can be a stubborn stain, but the divine has all sorts of tricks to dislodge it. If you wish to further integrate this card, well, this goes into how you would hold this card between your hands and over your heart. So I think that just kind of captures something that might be up for you. I did also pull this acceptance card. I'm not going to read it, but I thought that this was interesting in reading it in alignment with the spiritual connection card. So there's something going on here for you, Aquarius, that feels like being really true to yourself about your spiritual connection and bringing in acceptance and love around your feelings and around the fears that you may have. That deep spiritual connection comes when we release almost the last thing we have. So to go deeper requires more letting go. And at the deeper aspects, I think it's once we get used to the process of that, it feels more blissful than scary. But sometimes along the way as it deepens, it can feel more scary than blissful. So wherever you are on that, just be really honest with yourself and ask for your deep inner heart and knowing to guide you deeper. So let's get into tarot and see what else we can pull out for you, Aquarius, for the present energy right around the end of May, coming into June. So Sun, Moon, Rising, Aquarius, present energies, May 2020, June 2020. Coming in from May to June 2020 for Sun, Moon, Rising in Aquarius. All right. Well, something right off the bat is showing me that something happened possibly in a personal relationship. I don't know if it was romantic or not. I think for some of you it was. And I see that you come in with high hopes around it, and it maybe feels like a past person coming in, and that you're desiring or you're seeing yourself in connection to this person in a harmonious way. That you desire the Two of Cups. You desire that coming together with this person. That's how you're coming into this reading. This is a spiritual reading. I don't normally bring in the love aspect unless it really presents itself. And here I feel like it is. It could also mean something you just had your heart set on. So I feel as though what's beneath you, what's coming into your consciousness, is figuring out how it works or how it could work, or figuring out all the moving parts that you don't understand yet. I feel like there's a level of not understanding how all the parts move together. Or it feels like there's moving parts to this person or this situation that you haven't really fully mapped out yet. So you're working on that. So you're consciously trying to bring that into how you'll relate to this person or this situation. I feel like in the past you've related to it with the King of Swords, which is strong, boundaryful energy. So you've come at this with a lot of boundary and maybe not a lot of emotional openness. This actually is the card for Aquarius. So you were very much in your element here. Clear, but not necessarily emotionally available. I feel like that's also emotionally unavailable to yourself. And I do feel that with this spiritual connection and acceptance card, that these were asking of you to come into more of a emotional taking care of your heart, so that that spiritual connection can deepen through the heart. And so if this was in your recent past, this is what's being asked of you now. And there's support for that. There's loving support for that inside your own heart. So perhaps in this connection is mirroring back some of these ways that reflect back to you the way that it feels more comfortable to not be in your heart. You're definitely suspicious. You definitely hold awareness of what could possibly be hidden. You don't want to be surprised. So I feel as though you're holding that boundary possibly up with this situation or this person to protect yourself and to not be surprised. And what's coming into your near future is the 5 of Wands. And I feel like this is like a wrestling within yourself between like what your heart wants and not being surprised and letting your guard down. So it's like, how do I get what I want? How do I show maybe this situation or person that I am emotionally available, but at the same time not be taken advantage of? You're in a conversation in your own heart about that in the near future. I feel like it's kind of swirling around your head as well. Your energy body, not just your heart, but your being, is swirling with the discussion or the wrestling with that heart versus boundary situation in yourself around this person or situation. You want progression, but you're not sure how to bring that about. I feel like right now it might be important for you in your own self energy to just remain in that restful respite or deep meditation, or honoring your own heart, like your own sacred inner space of your heart. To commune with that space and allow your own inner healing to occur more deeply is very important for you right now. And I feel like the supportive energies are there for you to do this. If there were spiritual energies around you that you may have heard their whisper, listen to that whisper and let it guide you within to your own heart space and stay there for a while. And if you are a meditator or you are somebody that knows how to go within and create peace, let it go into the heart space, not just the mental space. Let your ancestral teachers, if you have them, or shamanic beings, animals of any kind, show up and teach you about your own heart, the wisdom aspect of your own heart. In your environment, you have the Tower. This is your outer relationship. This is you versus the world, or you versus a situation outside of yourself or a person. You have the Tower. I don't feel like this is something new or this is something that's going to come out and grab you like out of nowhere. I feel like it's how you're perceiving it. I feel like it's your response. Like, it feels like this to you. It feels like the Tower. It feels like a shaking up of the potentiality of dancing with this person or situation. Feels like the Tower. It feels like it could be destructive of structures that you've put into place in your life. That peace dove is just thrown to the bottom. So perhaps then it's this that could help alter how this feels. So taking care of your own inner space, I feel like we'll shift this from feeling like a tower moment into more of a peaceful, possibly bringing in more peace. So that feeling of peace can emerge through you creating it in your own heart first. Your hopes and fears. This is definitely coming in as a fear. I think you fear an ending, or you fear, and that's not going to happen. I just feel like that's something that you fear, that it's maybe one of your biggest fears is the ending of something. But I feel like there's something to get about that. For you, there's something to understand about that fear. It holds a lot of something to get for you. There's a surrendering that you've been unwilling to do, that if you did, would hold a spiritual significant quality. It would hold a spiritual doorway for you as you surrender to some kind of an ending, like really coming to terms with your own heart inside of that. So I feel like the final outcome here for you is, if the near future is this Five of Wands, which may be wrestling around internally, that you do emerge with clarity. You do have a new beginning here, and clarity will emerge. And I just want to pull another card around that Ace of Swords. To bring in further clarification around it. Yeah, I feel like the clarity that you're going to have is coming from recognizing being left out in the cold. Like, what situations or the potentiality of this person maybe you're dealing with leaving you out in the cold, the potentiality of that and the pain of that, and really, really facing it, I feel like will merge. It will start to bring about a new beginning and a clarity of a new beginning. Like this being a refreshing energy from really coming to terms with this. And what is this? This is really honoring your fear around being left out in the cold, or being left behind, or abandoned, or not being loved. Really coming to terms with what that is in your own heart. Like, who did that to you in the past, and how do I heal my heart? How do I spiritually hold my heart on a personal level so that I can heal? Like, what are the practices? What is the questions that I can be asking? What are the practices that can hold my heart in compassion and love and a healing space? Diving deep on that for you is going to be very spiritually significant right now. And that new beginning and clarity, that strong suit that you have as an air sign, a powerful air sign, will reemerge when you take care of that more emotional inner aspect of your heart. So that's my reading for you today, Aquarius. I wish you this journey to have a lot of success and many blessings for your heart and your healing and deep spiritual connection and acceptance of your inner nature. I wish all this for you, and if this resonated for you, please hit the like button so it can be shared for more Aquarians to receive this message. And I will be back very soon for your next reading. So I will see you then, and many blessings.